Or a brand just in general, because like your brand, like Brian Urdiales, I guess, would be the brand, but it's associated with Urdiales and it's associated with the city council. So how like important do you think it's like for people to build like that brand, like the Brian Urdiales brand, like their own brand,
instead of just being known like for one business or one thing they do,
being known for a couple things like that.
Yeah,
and honestly, it's very important, you know. So I've been lucky to be in this for 20 years. My dad was in it before me, probably 25 years before I got into it, you know. So the fact that people can just come to me, and just stop me and ask me questions, whether it be about real estate or whether it be about what's going, like now they can stop me and say like, what's happening at city council? Like, what's this about? And having that knowledge where people can stop you and ask you those things, it's nice to know that much stuff, but also it's nice to be able to answer people's questions when they have those things, you know. And sometimes they tie into each other. Like for instance, there's going to be, so say this, like one thing, like the people like to use the word like we need affordable housing, but sometimes with affordable housing that means there's an affordable housing deed attached to that. So that means they can go build, and this is more like I've only sold one house ever like that with a deed, and it was in Breckenridge because they try to keep the housing at a certain price for their employees or the people working there, you know. And your value can only, so if this guy bought it for $300,000 10 years ago, your value can only go up like say 3%, because realistically you probably could have sold it for a couple million. But that deed keeps you there. So there's so many different things that are attached to the word affordable housing that people sometimes, I mean, I'm still learning too, as far as being on council. They're like, bring in more affordable rentals, and a lot of them, the ones that approached us, had deeds. So honestly, the people working, even like a single teacher made too much money to rent there. One person working at Cargill, one person working at Leprino, like our biggest employers. One person, some of them are from the city, not all of them, but you know, wouldn't even, so they could go build 300 units and have the people are overqualified to live there.
So does it make sense to have deeds then?
So in certain circumstances, yes. In our particular city of Fort Morgan, I would say no. We need something that will fit, like, you know, I wouldn't say, well, yeah, like the professional people coming in, like the teachers, people working at it, Leprino, people working at Cargill, like they need a place to live, you know, where they're not restricted, like, oh, you make too much money, sorry, you can't live here anymore. Like, we just need something that come in, good market value, and people can have a nice place, either to rent or buy. But basically, also what I was going to say is that there's over by Gateway, off of there, we just passed something. There's going to be 22 single-family homes built over there. Across the street, they're going to be coming to us, and there's going to be 104 put in. So it's nice to have like the knowledge of real estate and how it works, and then also going over to the public side, I guess you could say, as being a councilman and knowing and learning kind of that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's important what you were saying, like just a moment ago. It's like sometimes like councilmen and like realty like go hand in hand. That's kind of like what we talk about. Like sometimes it's like people don't want to get into politics because they're like, oh no, that's not gonna affect it's not gonna affect me or my business in any way. It's like, I don't understand it. Let me just put it off to the side and not focus on it. But then a lot of times it's like you kind of should get a little bit into the politics or know what's going on, because a lot of times what's going on in the politics is going to affect someone's business.